Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dr. Apurva Popat, one of the first year internal medicine resident here. And she is Dr. Sweta Yadav, one of the medical graduate from India. And this is our one of the first Vodcast on some of the high yield topics of USMLE and which can be also helpful for your residency. So welcome, Dr. Sweta Yadav.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, it's my absolute pleasure. So let's just get directly started by
Sure.
talking about some questions, and you'll discuss about the presentations of the same. So here is our first presentation. A 60-year-old guy who is severely dependent on alcohol now has alcohol withdrawal seizures. So he's having generalized tonic-clonic seizures. On labs, his potassium is 5.6, which is kind of high. His creatinine is high, 2.4, PN of 36. His urine analysis is positive for blood, but his urine microscopy is negative for any RBCs. So what do you think is the cause of renal insufficiency in this patient?
So, as you mentioned that this patient has tonic-clonic seizures. Also, his creatinine level is high, right? And potassium is high. The other thing which is very important, it is urine analysis. You mentioned that there is positive blood in urine analysis and there is negative or no RBCs in urine microscopy, right? So there is this discordant blood finding. Okay, so this patient most likely has rhabdomyolysis due to seizures.
Right, and that's an important catch where you don't have any RBCs in urine microscopy,
Yes,
but you do see some blood in the urine dipstick. We'll talk more about that, but before we jump into that, what are some of the causes of rhabdomyolysis?
So, rhabdomyolysis is a skeletal muscle necrosis, right? The main etiologies are crush injury or heat stroke in patients, or direct toxicity, for example, patients taking statins or plus fibrates, right?
Right.
Also, prolonged immobilization is one of the most important cause of rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah, that's very true. Like we usually see patients like who have who had a fall at their home and who are not able to move for 6-7 hours, and they come to us and you find that they are in rhabdomyolysis. So what do you think are the classic presentation? How do we know that this patient would be having rhabdomyolysis?
So the patient will have muscle pain, first of all, muscle pain, muscle weakness. Okay, his creatinine kinase level will be high.
Right.
His AST level will be high, more than ALT, because AST is released from muscle. Also, patient will have when the muscle cells they are lysed, potassium and phosphorus they are released. So we will see hyperkalemia and hyperphosphatemia in rhabdomyolysis patients.
Right, and that's also another thing, that when you have high phosphate, you might interact with calcium.
Yeah, so in this patient, they will have low level of serum calcium.
Right.
Also, this patient will have dark urine due to the presence of myoglobin in urine, which is known as myoglobinuria or pigmenturia.
And what's the cause that your urine analysis will show blood, but microscopy is not having any RBCs? Why is that?
So the thing is, in urine analysis, the blood component, it measures the heme, not the blood. Okay, so you will see if heme is present, so there is, in urine analysis, we will see that blood is present.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically in the urine dipstick, if we have any heme, whether it's hemoglobin or myoglobin, it will be just positive.
Yes.
But in microscopy, we might not see any RBCs.
Yes.
That's good to know. So if we just talk more about hyperkalemia, like this is one of the most dangerous findings which one can have in rhabdomyolysis. So how do we manage that?
So first of all, if patient has hyperkalemia, you will see tall T waves on ECG, right? And for management, you will give patient calcium gluconate.
Right. So if we see any EKG changes, if the patient is having any EKG changes with tall T waves, and is having hyperkalemia, that's when we like start thinking about
Yeah.
calcium gluconate. And why is that? Like, why do we give calcium gluconate?
So the thing is, the calcium which is present in calcium gluconate, right? It surrounds the
Right.
sodium
Mhm.
potassium membrane, okay, and it repels the sodium.
So kind of like stabilizing the
yeah,
cardiac.
so it stabilizes the membrane, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if we talk about myoglobinuria, we are mainly concerned about kidneys. So how do we manage myoglobinuria, or like just say rhabdomyolysis in general?
We'll give IV fluids.
Right. And I think that's one of the mainstay treatment
Yes,
of
of rhabdomyolysis.
rhabdomyolysis. Like, because like we wanna save the kidneys, because PCT is like kind of most active part
Yes.
of the nephron.
Rhabdomyolysis is actually the myoglobin, right? So it releases heme in kidney, and it damages the renal tubules of the kidney.
Right.
So either there will be renal tubular obstruction, or it also tubular epithelial injury will occur, right? And so heme is released.
Right. Awesome. So since we are talking about urine analysis in general, so in this presentation we just talked about urine dipstick is positive for blood, but urine microscopy is negative for RBC. That's rhabdomyolysis. What do we start thinking if there is RBC casts in the urine?
Glomerulonephritis.
Okay, and what do we should start thinking when we see WBC casts in urine?
We can think of pyelonephritis.
Pyelonephritis and maybe
interstitial nephritis.
Interstitial nephritis. What do we start thinking if we see lipid cast or lipiduria, kind of like nephrotic syndrome?
Nephrotic syndrome. Yeah.
And how about some muddy or dirty casts in the urine?
Acute tubular necrosis.
Acute tubular necrosis.
Yeah, and I want to add one more thing, that acute tubular necrosis, it is a complication of rhabdomyolysis.
Right. And that kind of has like obstructive nephropathy, like where the epithelial cells would block around the tubules of the kidneys, and you may start seeing some muddy, dirty casts. So how do we know whether this hematuria is of glomerular origin, or is it something else from the urinary tract?
So what happens is, if the pathology is of glomerulus, you will see dysmorphic RBCs, right, in urine, or you can say RBC casts,
right?
Okay? Which you will not see if the pathology is not glomerular. Okay,
makes sense. Okay, is there anything else you want to add to our discussion?
No.
Okay, and that was a brief discussion about hematuria, and thank you for this.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you guys have any doubts, you can drop into the comment, and make sure you check the USMLEStrike app if you are starting your USMLE preparation, and feel free to message me on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help you in your USMLE journey. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.